Hey, I'm Chris. Thank you for joining us on the Southwest Florida Business Podcast. I'm joined today by Albert from Nuesana, and we dig into what the service is. It's a medical concierge service, but one of the cool pieces is that they actually come to you. But a couple of things that actually made me really interested to have this interview is how they're helping local business address some of the rising healthcare costs, especially as this comes up in the October-November window that we've got. And then we also dig into how it helps reduce the overall cost. It can improve employee retention, and then also have less time where you're out of the office. So I'm excited to share this episode with you. I learned a lot, and it may be changing the way I do things here moving forward. So without further ado, please enjoy this episode with Albert from Nuesana. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcasts. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com. Enjoy the show. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. So just to give people an idea of what you guys do, to start off, I did see you guys on social media, and that's why I wanted to reach out. And then we met at that networking event, which once I got to learn really more in depth about what you guys are doing, what you're offering, and then the value that you can actually bring to some of these local companies in Southwest Florida, just in terms of huge cost savings. I was excited to talk to you for this. So if we can, let's dig into what is Nuesana, what do you guys do, and then maybe let's dig into the different aspects, like the family, the health and wellness, and then the different business programs.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. I appreciate you having me and reaching out. It's a pleasure to be here. So Nuesana is really a mobile direct care concierge membership program. So we offer primary care to individuals through our memberships, and then we also offer a host of health and wellness services to just improve their overall quality of life and hopefully minimize the risk of sorry, I'm all messed up.
That's all right.
Of illness down the road. So we really take a proactive approach to their health, and if they need medical care, we're there to treat, diagnose, and prescribe medication as needed.
Okay, got it. So you're really trying to fill this need that is in the healthcare space of trying to make things more affordable, it seems like. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely much more affordable and accessible, but also joining the health and wellness with the primary care, which is something that you don't see very often. Typically, you have a primary care doctor, and they're really reactive, right, to treat once you have an illness. And then you have the health and wellness folks who, do things like, medical weight loss and those kinds of things to really keep you on the healthy side. But it's very rare that you have your primary care also looking out for your health and wellness. So we think it's a very unique approach and being proactive, and then really building that relationship and that bond with each patient, so we know how to best treat them.
Okay, got it. So how did this all come about?
So my wife Sabrina is the medical provider, and she's worked in healthcare for many, many years and has been a nurse at hospitals and also a nurse practitioner at a primary practice. And the reason that she got into healthcare was really to help people, right?
Okay.
And the more and more she worked within the hospital system or a primary care provider, the more she felt like she was not accomplishing that goal, right, of helping individuals. She was seeing anywhere of 20 patients a day. Each patient only had about 15 minutes of her time. And we've all been there. I've been to the doctor's office and sat 30 minutes in a waiting room to only be seen, for 5 or 10 minutes. So she really felt like there had to be a better way. So we started talking, and I really said, with my background in sales and marketing, and your ability to do what you do, we can really, launch a successful company with a different approach to healthcare. Sure. And so we started looking at ways that we could do that. And one of the key points to our program is really the convenience of it. So we thought, how do we make it to where we prioritize customer service in an industry that's not very well known for customer service, right? It's either you have to have that service, and they don't necessarily have to be very kind to you when they're providing it.
Sure.
So we wanted to kind of change that a little bit. And we thought, well, what if we could go to the patient? What if the patient didn't have to drive to us? What if the patient didn't have to sit in a waiting room? What if we went to them? And we decided to invest in a mobile clinic where we can go see individuals in their home, in their office, wherever is most convenient for them, because they can always come inside the mobile clinic and we can treat them inside of the van as well.
Okay. All right. So then how did you figure out that this was going to be a needed service? How did you know who to initially go to and start off with, asking these people to be your customers? How did all that come about?
Yeah. So really where I came into the picture was more on our business program. And as a business owner, I was trying to solve the business challenge of benefits to our employees. And I really felt like there was only one option at the time, which is traditional healthcare insurance. So going through that process, getting the estimates for all of the care, seeing the size of our company, as a business owner, it's a challenge because you want to do what's best for your employees and you want to take care of them. But you also have to take care of the business and have a healthy business, right? So as an employer with traditional health insurance, you have to contribute 50% of the total amount for that employee. So it's a huge burden on a company, especially as they start to scale and grow. So I really felt that there had to be a better way to approach this solution. So I came up with the business program, which really took care of your primary care, right? Which is about 85 to 90% of what most people need, right? You get sick, you need antibiotics, you need to refill a prescription, that you're on a specific medication. So those kinds of treatments are what is most commonly, what we most commonly use from a primary care provider. And really, how do we make that affordable, right? And through some other affiliations with medical membership, you can actually have your hospitalizations and your major procedures also covered. So really combining the two came up with a really powerful business program. And that was really my approach, is how do I solve this problem for as many businesses here in Southwest Florida as possible. And it's really just through my relationships and through approaching other businesses that I feel would be a good candidate.
Yeah. Well, and it's an interesting way to look at it, because that's kind of the reason why I found what you're doing very intriguing, because for me, and I know I talked to a lot of people about this as well, but with the cost of health insurance and all these things, I feel like I'm paying a fortune every month for what is like essentially catastrophic care.
Right.
And then I'm trying to find the balance of what do I pick with a health insurance plan where the more day-to-day, or I say month-to-month type stuff is covered, and then also that if I go to the hospital for something, I'm not going to go bankrupt.
Right.
And it's trying to find that balance between the two, and ultimately I kind of end up deciding which one I'll do based on the worst-case scenario.
Right.
But then you end up spending, I don't know, almost like $1,000 a month.
Yep.
And it's so expensive to even use the stuff that's in my healthcare that half the time we end up just doing the out-of-pocket costs,
right? Because
it's, I don't know, sometimes a third of the cost of if I run it through insurance. So
yeah.
I'm always in this weird conundrum there.
Yeah, and I think we're at the very beginning of a big shift with the healthcare. I think.
How so?
Well, I think we all are experiencing higher costs for healthcare, and the quality of care continues to decline, right? So just to give you an example, for me, my insurance through traditional methods would probably be about $500 a month with a like $7,000 deductible, right? So I'm on the hook for at least $7,000 of anything that were to happen to me. In comparison, you still have, in addition to, you still have copays, right? for your visits. You still have emergency room copays. You still have specialist copays. So even though you're contributing a pretty large amount every month and you have a high deductible, there's still a lot of other fees. So with our solution, you're probably looking around $225 a month, right? So about half the cost, if not more, to traditional health insurance. And you have similar benefits as far as you're covered for primary care and hospitalizations, major procedures, and those kinds of things. So I always tell folks with that additional savings, you can invest in a health savings account, right, to cover some prescription medications or anything like that. So it's just about looking at all the options, right? So I'm not saying that health insurance necessarily is a bad thing. I just want to share what we have to offer and let the individuals or the business owners evaluate what is best for them. But you have to have all the information in order to make an educated decision, right?
For sure.
So, and right now, I think most individuals and most businesses only know one way, and that's traditional health insurance.
Yeah, for sure. And so what does it look like to be a customer? What's the process like? And is there a difference between being a customer on the private family medicine side versus the business side?
Yep.
Yeah.
So for individuals, we have 1-year memberships, and it's $85 a month for individual. Businesses are a little different. We also have a 1-year agreement membership, but it's $75 with a minimum of 5 employees. So if a business has less than 5 employees, then we can still add them through the individual membership program, right? So all you need to do is contact us. We'll send you, we'll do a complimentary consultation, tell you everything that's included in the program. When you become a member, the membership costs cover all of the visits. So for our membership, we include 10 telemedicine visits a year and 2 in-person visits a year. So we'll come out to your home or again our office twice a year. We can draw labs right on site. You don't have to miss work or take time off to go see the doctor. We'll come to you. Excuse me. We can draw labs right on site, and then we can follow up and review those labs with you. So typically you won't need more than 2. If individuals do need more visits, obviously we'll work with them to accommodate them. But it really covers everything. There's no co-pays. There's no any additional cost for our fees once you're a member.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to do a consultation.
We got to talk, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then so how does it work for businesses? Because I know that with businesses, like you said, they have to pay half the health insurance, and then you also have the employee paying like at least half just for themselves, and then they also have to pay for their families and everything. So what kind of solutions are you working with these businesses to create for employees to help? Whether it's not to replace their health insurance, but to offset some of those costs. How are you guys doing that?
Yeah, no, great question. So we approach it in a couple of different ways. One, businesses that don't offer any health insurance right now, we can be an added benefit, right? So hey, we don't offer any traditional health insurance, but here's something that at least covers your primary care. And then we do have businesses that already have health insurance in place, but the majority of their employees are not participating. Typically, it's because of cost, right? So the employee also has to contribute a large amount. So we can come in and still offer benefits to those employees that are not participating in the traditional health insurance at a fraction of the cost, and give the employer a few options to present to their team and let them, again, choose what is best for them and their family. So it can be an add-on. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing, right? So if you have traditional health insurance, you can still continue to offer that plan. We just want to be able to offer our solution and let the employee, make the decision that's best for them.
Yeah. So when you go to talk to these companies, what are you noticing is the adoption rate of their health insurance? Is it pretty common to have a decent amount of people that don't opt into
it? It is. Yeah, unfortunately it is. And again, because of the same
cost
that you're facing or I'm facing, right? It's just decision is like, I'm fairly healthy. Do I need to invest this money, right, for what we would consider catastrophic care? So a lot of folks, choose not to take advantage of it. But we really position it as a cost savings to the business owner and the employees, and we position it as a time saver. So if you think about, employees having to take time off because they have to go to the doctor, employees having to take time off because they're out sick or not feeling well. So our program allows for us to come on site or them to schedule telemedicine so they don't have to take time off and still be seen and be taken care of. And also, if we understand what's wrong with them, we can know how to treat them, then hopefully we'll minimize the risk of them getting ill in the future and ultimately increase productivity, right? So happy and healthy employees are going to be more productive employees.
Yeah, for sure. And so you'll actually, I know you have already said this, but you'll literally go out to businesses or job sites, whatever it might be, and set up there, even if it's for a couple hours, and almost bring a doctor's office to their own office.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of members in particular. One is a irrigation and landscape company, landscape lighting. So their crews get there really early, right? They're out of their facility around 7:30ish or so. They're already on the road onto the job sites. So we actually come before business hours. We're there at 6:30 to 7:30 every other Wednesday. And folks that need to be seen can come right in. So we have patients that will just either get their labs done or just have a general doctor's visit. And then we have other patients that are taking advantage of the health and wellness programs that will come in and get vitamin injections, other type of therapies, micronutrient tests, and those kinds of things on the health and wellness side. So it's a huge benefit to offer to your employees to have to invest in their health, right? So they feel value, a sense of pride, the culture of the company and the morale of the company with a program like this definitely will you'll see big benefits from it.
So so these health and wellness pieces, right? So I listen to a lot of different podcasts and all these things, and I don't particularly partake in the like monitoring your blood levels and all these things and looking at these different factors and stuff like that. But I know that it seems like a pretty big thing for tech companies, and I don't know, maybe it's like a millennial thing, but a lot of people want to do these like almost body hacking or just keep track of all these different aspects so I know what I'm doing when I'm working out or what nutrients to take. I mean, is that kind of part of this health and wellness?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the having the ability to identify what your body is deficient in and making those adjustments and corrections is huge. It's a game changer, right? So again, I'll use myself as an example. I'm 47, and with running a company and doing all the things, you get worn out, right? So I did a micronutrient test, which identifies about 30 or 40 nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, and all the stuff that you don't necessarily get from a standard lab, and it identifies what you're deficient in, so that when you are either taking some supplements, you're taking the right ones, or when you're making adjustments on your diet, what foods and vegetables, fruits and vegetables you should be, consuming more of because your body is deficient in, and the energy level. You see that pretty immediately, right? So you can start to reap the benefits from that. So there's a lot more attention being, like you said, a lot of people are paying more attention to their health, right? And obviously we're coming off of the last 2 years where it's we've all been a pandemic and everybody's trying to do more and keep themselves healthy. So there's a lot of tools that we can use and therapies that we can implement to make people feel and run at their optimum level. Yeah.
And so with this, I know that it came from Sabrina kind of seeing a gap, but what were kind of the almost the philosophical differences that you saw between your approach now and kind of the way that it's been done? Why do it this way and take this approach?
So I think there's two things that we're focused on. One is that patient experience, right? So we don't want it to feel like a chore to reach out and schedule an appointment and go see the doctor, right? And we hear that from a lot of patients. It's like, I'm sick now, they can't see me for 6 weeks. What good is 6 weeks from now going to do me? So we really want to focus on that patient experience and make sure that every visit is seamless, from scheduling to the time we're there, and also for them to feel heard and not rushed. So I think that is another thing that we hear a lot is Sabrina takes the time. She really listens. She gets to know me. She remembers our last visit because, we're dealing with a handful of patients versus, thousands and thousands of people, right? So it's just more personal approach. And through that personal approach, we make more recommendations. We know more about you so that we can make better, recommendations for your health and overall well-being. And it's a conversation. It's not something where it's, you have to do this or else, right? It's like, hey, I think this will be beneficial to you, or, if you're tired, let's do this test. And if this test yields these results, then let's build a program around that to heal you. And one of the biggest things that I look at is just, call it a case study, right? So we have a business owner who had a pain in his leg for about 2 years, and Sabrina started to see him, and he just thought it was life, right? You're getting old, and that's what happens when you get old. You start to not feel, or you start to just deal with pain. And through a few tests and some supplements, and through IV infusions, he has been pain-free for going on 4 months now. So it's just a deficiency that his body was lacking in, that was causing him to kind of feel that uncomfortable pain. And through her ability to have more of an in-depth conversation, put a plan together to treat that pain, and he's been pain-free since.
Well, and plus the ability to actually come to your office, because I think that plays a big role in why I don't go to the doctor all that much. And sometimes it's perceived busyness, right? You're running a company now, I'm running a company, and could I make the time to go to the doctor? 100%. Is it kind of a pain? Yes, 100%. But if that roadblock is eliminated, especially for myself, but also if you've got employees, I mean, it's a huge reason why you would even take advantage of something like this. Yeah,
no, absolutely right. And I think it's a little surprising, but how we don't prioritize our health, it seems, until it's too late, right? So there has to be some type of life incident that will cause you to, prioritize your health, and we're trying to change that. We understand we're busy, we have a lot going on, there's a lot of time is extremely valuable, but without your health, what do you have, right? You don't have any of it. So we actually had a business owner who is under his company healthcare. And one of the scenarios when we presented this to him, he had just taken some time off to do some lab work. And he said, Albert, I missed half a day at the office to go see the doctor. I missed half a day to go get the labs done. And I missed half a day to go have the doctor, review the labs with me. If Sabrina can come in here and do that, and I don't have to miss time off of work, that's a game changer. That's the kind of time that we're giving business owners back, or individuals back, that they don't necessarily have to miss. And when you take time off of work, the work doesn't stop. It's just you have to make it up in less time or in after hours. So really it's just giving individuals and business owners time back that they wouldn't necessarily have, while still prioritizing their health.
And so what are some of the strategies that you help put together for businesses in terms of, let's say they want to sign the business program with you, and they're looking to take care of that 80 to 90%, the the labs, the 2 visits a year,
Yep.
the option if they do get sick to do the telemedicine because they feel like that's more affordable. But they're also concerned about the catastrophic, whether it's a surgery, because you hear all these stories about people going bankrupt from not
Absolutely.
having insurance or something happens with their insurance, whatever it might be. So what are some of the strategies that you put together for those businesses to accommodate those lower end, keep the costs down here, but also give them a pathway for resolving high ticket or catastrophic issues?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's a lot of options out there, and our membership covers the primary care services. If you're looking for additional coverage for those hospitalizations or major medical procedures, we point you in the right direction. So there is what we call traditional catastrophic care. And those are provided through traditional health insurance companies, but it's less expensive than full coverage. And then there are medical sharing programs out there. And there's a few companies that we can refer folks to that you pay into as a membership. And if you have a procedure or have something that catastrophic happen, they reimburse you through the membership. So there are other options, and those are growing in popularity. And they've been very popular for individuals. Now they're starting to gain popularity in businesses as well, especially small businesses, because again, I think we're in a very, very competitive job market. Businesses are trying to do everything they can to either attract top talent or make sure they retain top talent. And it's not always about the salary or the hourly range. It's really about the benefits and the package. I saw a study that said 78% of employees would stay at their current provider based on the benefits package, right? Or current employer based on the benefits package, which makes sense. You want to feel like you're going to be taken care of, whether it's health insurance or 401k or perks from the company or work from home, whatever it may be. Businesses are having to adjust and make their offering more attractive than their competitors to make sure that they keep and attract those key employees.
Sure, yeah, and I mean that you're hitting on a point for me is one of the things before I left my last job and started this was a ton of my conversations with my wife and I were around healthcare costs. What is that going to look like?
Yeah.
We were at the time planning on having a baby. I think she was pregnant she was pregnant when we decided to leave, and that was a big piece of it. It's like, okay, we leave here. It was still it cost a lot of money, but it was basically like, all right, well, our costs are going to even go up from here. How do we navigate this? And
Yep.
I know that for a lot of my friends that I talk to, that's a big factor with them being willing to stay or willing to leave a company, because I know that at least for my friends, I'll say is if they're taken care of with these other aspects, every job has things that kind of suck about it.
Yep.
And it makes it less likely for you to just jump ship, because everybody that I know, and I've had jobs where I didn't have any health insurance or any of these extra things. It was like, well, this job is terrible and I don't want to be here.
Right.
And it's not because I'm lazy, entitled or anything. It's because I'm trying to plan my life out. I'm trying to plan out how I build wealth, how I build a family, how I do all these things. And
Absolutely.
If there's no stability there, I mean, kind of, it's like, what am I doing at this job?
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. And as a business owner, as a company, businesses have reputations not only with their customers, but also with employees or potential future employees. It's why would I work for your business? Right?
Yeah.
So you can increase that credibility of your company by enhancing your benefit offering, whatever that may be. So businesses are definitely starting to get creative, and we feel like our business program really enhances their ability to do so. Again, in our approach is we're going to more than likely save you money, right? If you have a certain number of individuals that are on your traditional healthcare plan opt into our program instead of the traditional healthcare, that's a huge cost savings. As you bring in new employees, you now have two options that you can present to them and let the employee choose. And if they choose our program, then again, you're saving every time that an employee joins your team while still taking care of them, doing the right thing, and offering additional benefits.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I don't want to name any names or anything like that, but the companies that you're talking to in Southwest Florida now, maybe that have like 100, 200 employees, whatever it might be, when they're coming to you and saying, hey, we want to talk about this, what are the challenges that they're dealing with right now, and what are some of the ways that you're helping them navigate through that?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. We had a local business reach out to us recently because their insurance premiums went up 30% in 1 year. So if you can imagine, they have about 175 employees. Not sure how many employees exactly take advantage of their health insurance, but it's a huge increase. And not only is it an increase on the business, but now they have to sit down with each of their employees and say, hey, guess what? You're going to be having to pay in more in order to keep your policy. So they were really concerned about, one, the number of employees that were going to drop their insurance, right? So now they have less employees covered. So if something were to happen to them, they know they're going to be liable for those costs, and just the stress that comes with knowing you don't have insurance after you've had it for a very long time, I think can weigh on some people. And then the fact that they're going to have to look at how competitive their salaries are in comparison to everyone else, because now essentially each employee is going to take a pay cut because of the insurance cost is going up. So they're really concerned about how that was going to be perceived within their company culture, and also what the impact it was going to have with their recruiting efforts as they try to continue to grow. So they were looking at some alternatives and really had never heard of the options that I presented, right? And it's not common. So they were really looking forward to having some additional discussions and making this part of their offering potentially, because again, they're rapidly growing and they're only going to ramp up their recruiting efforts, and having the additional burden of the higher health insurance was going to create a challenge for them.
Got it. And so for something like that, if you've got a big company, would you end up doing something like you did for the landscaping company, where it's either on a bi-weekly basis or maybe a monthly basis, where it's, hey, we'll come to you for this time, book your appointments? Yeah,
definitely. I think that the beauty in what we're doing is that it's customizable, right? So we can definitely build off of our program what we already have and make sure that we accommodate your specific business needs. As an example, we have one customer who is a home builder. So we don't necessarily meet his employees in the same place every time. We were just on a construction site last week, Friday, in front of a home that they're building in Naples. So we set up right out front. We saw two patients that day there, and they walked off the job site for about 15 minutes and into the van, and were treated and had their appointment, and then back onto the job site. So again, that's something that is unique, and keeps them working and productive and taken care of.
Sure. Yeah, and then you don't have the aspect of leaving the job site, going to the doctor, coming back, trying to get things back on schedule. Plus, people are part of teams, and I don't know. For me, I always kind of felt weird about anything that makes you leave and maybe leave other people on the job hanging, and kind of just makes it more challenging for everybody.
Right. So, yeah. Like you said, the work doesn't go away, right? So if somebody takes a half day off or a full day off to go see a doctor, somebody else has to pick up that slack, or when that employee gets back, that work is waiting for them, ready to go at it. So also if you think about PTO, right? So when you work for a company, you get a certain number of days off, and who wants to take those days when they're to go see the doctor, to go get labs done? You want to take those days to spend time with your family, go on vacation, disconnect. You don't want to necessarily utilize those days to go take care of things that could be done in 15, 30 minutes right on the job site.
Yeah, I think going to the doctor's office is kind of the last definition I'd have of a vacation.
Of a PTO, right? Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So, all right, cool. Well, so when it comes to everything that you're doing, you've got the family medicine, the health and wellness, the business program. You're really, it's cool to watch this thing grow too.
Yeah.
But where does it go from here?
Great question. So I think our goal is to build out our membership. And once we reach a certain number, really cap that membership out because we want to make sure that those patients have a great experience. Once we have or are reaching that membership goal, we will bring in another practitioner and start to replicate that. So businesses or individuals that start to see that person will continue to see that person. So we definitely want to expand and continue to provide our services throughout Southwest Florida, and who knows what the future holds beyond that. But we definitely want to have much more coverage and give people alternatives and have them experience healthcare the way we think it should be, which is, a patient first, customer service focused, and, really, really in tune with their health and what, some of their issues may be and how we can best address those.
Okay. And then, so on the scaling piece, right? How are you guys planning on, possibly bringing new people in? What would you end up looking for? What kind of experience and what kind of people are you hoping to attract to the company itself?
Yeah, no, great question. I think one of the things that has made us successful is definitely my wife's personality and her approach to healthcare. So we want people who definitely embody that, right? Have the passion for taking care of people and making that the number one priority. Are passionate about customer service. So we look at hiring either nurse practitioners or nurses that can deliver the quality care that we will set out and the standards that we have for returning calls, returning emails, making sure that we're on time for appointments, giving patients flexibility. So all those things that come with customer service, we want to make sure that we continue to embody that in the people that we bring on, and that they also have a passion for taking care of people. And I think if we can find those individuals and bring them in and build a company culture to what's made us successful thus far, we'll be providing great care for years to come.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So before we wrap this up, is there anything else that we should touch on? Is there anything else that people that are listening should know about?
Yeah, I know we talked about open enrollment. So this time of year is a big time for companies to look and make decisions on healthcare. So I definitely welcome the opportunity to share our program with business owners, HR directors, prior to them making a decision or committing to the traditional healthcare. So I think that's a very important point because it is a deadline of I think October or so. So we have about 4 to 5 weeks for them to kind of evaluate. Now, we don't have necessarily an enrollment period. Traditional health insurance does. So even if you make the move to secure traditional health insurance, we can still onboard you at any time throughout the year.
Got it. Okay. So then the primary ask, I guess, for some businesses would be, hey, before you decide exactly what you're going to do, at least have a conversation with us, see what we can do. And then if you can almost plug in, even if it's to not replace, because as we were talking, that wasn't really the goal. It's more just, hey, here, let us put this package together so you have something as well to offer when these price increases happen in October.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal is not to have someone who's comfortable with the policy that they have or the plan that they have and strip that out. Our goal is to give them an option and let them make the decision that's best for them and their family. And for businesses, it's something that they can add on. And as they are posting their job on their job openings on these recruiting sites, they can really differentiate their listing. As they're interviewing candidates, they can really offer additional benefits. And I think it's not necessarily to strip and remove the traditional health insurance from what businesses are doing. It's more to add value to both the individuals and the businesses.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. And where can people find you? Can they sign up or at least to learn more?
Yeah, definitely. So Nuesana.com is our website. They can definitely reach out at 239-799-2121. That's a direct number. We'll schedule an appointment. Also, they can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and all those other social places. So
okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming and doing this, man.
Thanks for
I really
having me.
appreciate it.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this thing grows because I think this is a much needed need in the market.
Yeah, everyone we've talked to, both on the individual side and the businesses, are taken back by they didn't even know something like this existed. So, our goal is to get in front of as many people as possible and give them those options.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcasts. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com.